Hi friends, it's Becky, and it's time for me to unbox my August 2024 Beads of the Month clubs that I get from Adornable Elements. They have several different Beads of the Month clubs that you can subscribe to. I subscribe to the 11 Seed Bead of the Month clubs and the 2-hole Bead of the Month clubs, and I also get the rotating Beads of the Month club. So every month I get something different from one of their other clubs. This month I get a double dose of the seed beads. So I've got 2 different packages, both with the same seed beads. So it's just like if I was getting the double beads of the month, because each of these are the single amounts, but they also offer doubles. So you can get twice as many beads of the same kind of beads in your subscription if you wanted to get that. And again, that's from Adornable Elements. I will put a link to them in the description if you would like to sign up for any of these. I also have a coupon code that you can use, and if you do the coupon code and you do the rotating, you'll be on the same rotation as me, so you'll get the same beads that I do. And that's how they keep track of it, is through the coupon codes. Anyway, so I have my 11 seed beads of the month, my 2 seed beads of the month, and I also subscribe to their add-on findings companion pack, which gets me some pretty interesting findings. Sometimes they're really unique findings that I haven't seen in a while or I haven't seen before. So the themes for this is deep woods for the 11 O's, and you can see we've got some chocolatey colors, some browns, and some greens. It's very woodsy, my friends, and we will take a look at these in depth in a minute. Just move some of these out of the way. And then for the 2-hole beads of the month, it's Meadow Clary Bloom. And one of my favorite things about this 2-hole beads club subscription is that I often get beads in here that I have not used before, 2-hole beads. And just because I haven't used it before doesn't mean that they're new. They're just new to me. But it's a really, really fun way for me to explore new to me beads and have a lot of fun doing so. So let's take a look at each of these beads and what we've got. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so we can get more detail on these guys. So our first selection on the 11 seed beads is this silver lined dark emerald color. You can see that silver lining really helps that color shine through. And then we've got transparent root beer. This is a very dark brown color. It's a warm brown, dark caramel colors. And then we've got transparent light green AB. So it's they're like little green bubbles because that effervescent AB finish on the outside gives you lots of different colors reflecting off of it in the light. And then we've got opaque green. This is not a bright green, it's just a regular old green. Say, maybe like the color of grass. It's a very good grass green, I'd say. And then we've got opaque chartreuse, which needs no introduction. It is definitely avocado-y. And then metallic chocolate. I love this because it's given a very like antique bronze vibe on it. I think it's going to make a great spacer in some designs. I think it'll make a great accent color and doing all that. And then we've got metallic green iris. So it's a matte metallic green iris. You can see the different iris colors coming off of that. This is a fantastic bridge bead to go between like some of the chocolaties and the browns and some of these green beads because it has all of those tones in it. And then we've got a great neutral with our Duracoat silver lined taupe. It's this color here. Is it matte? Nope, it's not matte. It feels like it's matte, but it's not. All right, and then for our 2-hole beads, this is a new bead to me. This is, where's my list? It was right here. There it is. This is chalk blue luster is the color, but it is a horizontal fixer bead. See how it's got like this curve to it? I think that this would be amazing and fantastic, and probably it's where it's used most, is just as a bead in like a bracelet, because it's already got that curve to it, and so it could be really great all lined up here in a row, like maybe with some seed beads between it. In fact, you know what? I think I'm gonna make one with y'all. Yeah, after we go over these beads, I'm gonna pull these out and just make myself a bracelet. Just because. And then this is another new to me bead. I've had check glass maple leaf beads that I've used before, but I have not used any that had the 2 holes running down the back side of it like that. This is totally brand new bead shape to me. I'm really excited to use them in something. I actually have an idea for a necklace so far that's going to involve this, but I won't be making that today. I think I definitely want to make a bracelet with you guys today using those beads, but these are so cool. Oh, the color on this is Denim Blue Luster Maple Leaf. You can see it's got kind of a purpley wash right there in the maple sections. All right, and then we've got some Bibo beads, and I've used these a couple of times before in other selections, and they're basically the same size as a Super Duo, but I'm just gonna set this down for a minute and pull this out because I've got some Super Duos and some Bibos right next to each other just to show you some comparisons. Where the Super Duo has like this bow out around the edges, the Bibo goes the opposite direction. So they're about the same size, but they curve differently for those Bibo beads. And then we've got some Cheops Parpuka, and I have to say that these Cheops Parpuka beads, these have very quickly become one of my favorite 2-hole beads to use. I've used them for a couple of months now in some of my the things that I've made, but they've got on all of their 3 sides, one side has 2 holes, and then each of the other side has 1, and they kind of run up through it to come out that other side. And they are so versatile, I've been finding, as I've been using them more. And that was Opaque Blue Luster again for that one. And then we've got Nebula Matte Turquoise. These are ginkgo colors. So matte finish. See, the light doesn't quite shine off of them. And then they've got this kind of nebula finish on them, but the turquoise bead underneath still shows through a little bit. And then we've got some polychrome light purple triangle beads. And they are the same on either side. And then we've got some Jet Nebula Matte. So Jet is the color of the bead underneath it, and then it's got this nebula finish, this matte nebula finish. And these are just Super Duos, which are the most popular 2-hole bead out there. And then we've got some chili beads, and chili beads are different and kind of fun, and I've tried to use them in other things and I was using them wrong, but I'm gonna try with this subscription to do them again. But they've got their 2 holes there at the top, and then one side is smooth and then the other one kind of has that inner curve. They're not quite bicycle seats, but they kind of remind me of them a little bit on that. Now let's look at the findings pack before I start making my bracelet with these guys. So the findings pack, this is just an add-on that you can add on to your subscription. And like I said, you usually get some really unique and interesting findings in them, so it makes it pretty fun to get. And it looks like, to start off with, that it's almost a bracelet by itself. Almost completely a bracelet by itself for this. But you've got some links. Some of these, you can use these individually, take them apart, do it that way. Let me go down this list. This would be the fancy chain component, 6 inches of this. But it gives you this filigree, kind of a romantic link, and then these bicone links with the crystal color. Those are super pretty. And then we've got some tiara cast ball spacers. That's in this bag, I'm pretty sure. Are they ball spacers? Or are they daisy spacers? Oop. Again, I'm just separating them out from these jump rings real quick. All right, so these are the daisy spacers right here from Tiara Cast. And then we've got some 6mm twisted jump rings. That's these guys right here. There is a divider in there that you can twist them open and close them up again. We've got several of those. There are some 26mm swoop earring hooks, and they've got a little back on them. It's these guys right here. And then we've got a fern connector. This is a great focal connector, I think. Oh my gosh, in fact, this is going to make my little plans for my necklace so much easier to go with. I'm definitely going to be using that in that one. And then it looks like we've got a ball bail with a little flower on there, a barrel bail. And these are fantastic because they've got such a large hole. They could go on some leather, or you might put them on some silver silk if you have some of that, and then you can attach a pendant or a charm and dangle that from there. They're also fantastic with what are they called? The things. Blah 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 blah. Trying to think of the name. Stretch bracelets. They're great for stretch bracelets because you can tie your knot where this is and the knot will stay right in there, and that way the knot doesn't get like rubbed against between the different beads or anything like that. In fact, maybe this is going to be a stretch bracelet. I think that's what I'm going to do with that. These are going to be stretch bracelets, and I'm going to use this barrel bail as my little midpoint, and then we'll just do a little dangle off the end of it. I think we can do that with some of these other beads without it being a big issue. Yeah. All right. I've already made my decision. This is how we're going to do it. I'm not going to worry about clasps because it's going to be a stretch bracelet. All right. I'm going to move that over there with the other guy. Or maybe I'll stick it there. I don't know. But now we've got some other clasps that came in there. There are 3 different ones in here. They are toggle clasps. We've got one with these little swoopies. Set that there. And these are all Tiara Cast toggle clasps, and they're various shapes. And then we've got one with like the twisted look on it. These are all Tiara Cast toggle clasps. And then this one with like this romantically hooky kind of a leaf on it. This is great. This is fun, actually. I like that one. But yeah, so that is in the findings pack that we can do stuff with. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull off this barrel bead. These guys. I think that should be enough. If not, I do have more in the thing. And I think, what bead should I do with these as a little spacer? Are these going to work well with it? Let me see. Let's try it with these guys. I think I like these darker brown ones rather than the taupe guys for my in between these guys kind of beads. So let's just go ahead and so I don't have to put these guys away until after I am done making things. And then I'm also going to need to make a dangle off of there. How about this guy? Yeah, make a little dangle with that one. Okay. Or this bibo bead. All right, all right. Yeah, I think all of these will look good together. And I do like to put away my beads, by the way, in these photo boxes, because especially when they're already in these organizers like this, it means I don't have to sort them. But this way they can stay all together, and these photo boxes will, like, they'll stack vertically or on top of each other, and that way they'll all be together when I go to make something with them. But yeah, so let's get some stretch cord. And start making a stretch bracelet with these guys. Now I'm going to be doing two ends of the stretch cord at once. Where is my stretch cord? Okay, I found my stretch cord, and this is 0.4 millimeter stretch cord, so it's fairly thin, but it's still strong. And I cut off enough to go around my wrist at least twice. This is doubled over, and plus extra for tying. So I should have enough for this. Now when I use two ends of my stretch cord at the same time, I generally will put a little like lobster clasp or something on the end to keep the end from sneaking up inside the hole of the first bead I put on. But because these are 2-hole beads, I'm not gonna have to do that. So I'm just gonna start with 1 11/0 on each end of my stretch cord, and then put each end through one hole of these, shoot, what was the name of these again? Because they're new to me. The horizontal fixers. And as I go through this, I'm going to just want to make sure that they are turned the right way so that I'm not putting them through with one of them curved over like this and then the next one curved up like this, because I want them to curve all the way around my wrist. And if I hold on to both of these and slide this down, it's going to find the center of this anyway. And I'm going to end up tying the end of this onto this part of my cord right here. So I don't really want to pull tight. I'm just going to string these along, and all I'm going to do is put 1 11/0 on each strand of my stretch cord, and then put each strand through one of these fixer beads. Sorry, I'm having to read my thing again because I keep forgetting the name. Don't worry, it will stay in my head after a while, but right now it sure is having some trouble. Ooh, I like this already. Just like that. So all I'm going to do is just do that all the way until this is long enough to fit around my wrist. So I'll join you back there when it is about time to check the length, and I'll show you how to check the length, and then we'll tie it off and get that fixed up nicely. And I will try and do a little dangle with this chili bead and this bibo bead, and probably a couple of these guys too, that we can dangle from our veil bead. So I will be back in just a minute after this is all strung up. All right, so I think this is just about long enough. I'm going to double check. I've got my little loop here on one end from where I started it, and I've got my two other ends here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pass these two ends through this loop so that it will be loosely closed, but not completely closed. I'm going to put it on my wrist. And if I can close it without there being any tension, then it's big enough. But also, I want to keep in mind at this point that this is going to take up some space. So I think I can do one more of these fixer beads, and then we'll call that good. and long enough. And I just pulled that out of that loop again. I still have my loop on this other end. So I'm going to just do one more fixer bead on here. Sorry, two more of the seed beads and then one more fixer bead. And then we're going to call that long enough. And then I'm going to figure out how to turn these other beads into a dangle after I get this long enough. All right. Now I've got those two on there. All right, and I want to end with two seed beads. They'll probably get swallowed up by this guy when I tie my knot, but that's okay. They'll still be there. I'll know deep in my heart that they're in there. It's like when you wear your special underwear. Nobody knows, but you know. You know? All right, so let's make a little thing. I'm using one of the chili beads and a bibo bead and some of these seed beads. And I think I want to use some wire. All right, this is just some 24 gauge wire. It's silver, and I don't need very much of it. So let's go ahead and cut that off here. All right. I'm just kind of straightening it out a little bit so that it doesn't have kinks when it's going through these beads. All right, I'm gonna pick up, let's do 3 of these seed beads. And then I'm gonna put both ends of this wire through the holes on the bibo beads, one through each hole. And I'm gonna pull this through fairly gently. I don't want to kink or get the wire stuck, but I want to, there we go. So that's on that end. And then I'm going to take both ends of this wire and put them through some holes, each hole in my chili bead, like that. And then I'm just going to bend them up a little bit towards this way. Actually, let's do a second chili bead. Yeah. But I'm going to have it going with the chili bead pointing the other direction so that they're offset. I think that'll be really fun. This is just supposed to be a dangle. There we go. Like that. Bloop, bloop. All right, I'm gonna put these together. Just gonna cross them once. I'm pinching the wire and giving a little twirl. I'm gonna put both ends together and grab a round nose plier. Or here, my bail making pliers will work. I'm just going to use the smallest loop on my bail making pliers. Round nose pliers will also work. But all I want to do is make myself a little loop. I'm going to go around until it crosses over. So once I've got my loop like that, before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and attach it to my bail bead. And then I'm going to start a little loop around it. Just going to grab my loop with my pliers so it doesn't go anywhere and start wrapping for a wrapped loop. There. That's really a fun little dangle. Honestly, I love it. I'm gonna probably do something else with that later. I might do some earrings and things with this and some ginkgos and have this be like a bottom dangle on an earring, because that's funky. And I love it. It is fun and funky. Yay. What a fun dangle. Okay, so that's going to look great dangling from here on this bracelet. I have one of these left. This is going to fit my 7.5-inch wrist. If you've got like an 8-inch wrist, you might need all of the beads. If you've got a smaller wrist, you might use fewer. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put both ends of my wire through my bail bead. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Or not wire, my cord. I'm going to make sure that this does not get twisted. And then I'm going to find my loop over here on the end between the seed beads. There we go. And I'm just going to take one of these and put it through this loop on the end. And kind of give this a little bit of a tug to snug that up a little bit. And now I'm going to start tying. I'm going to do a knot and see, let me get a little closer to this so you can see a little bit better where that, the end of that, the stretch cord is right there. I've got one of these strands going through it, and now I'm just going to tie right there onto it, both of these strands together. I'm going to do an overhand knot initially, and then I'm going to turn it into a surgeon's knot by doing left over right, right over left, but on the second pass, I'm going to go through the hole twice. If I can manage it. And I'm going to tighten that, pulling it from a couple different directions while I'm tightening it before I cut anything. All right, and now, let's see if I can get to that knot. There it is, it's right there. All right, so I can get to the knot because what I want to do is first put down some paper so that I don't get glue on my bead mat. And I'm gonna grab you can use the extra end of some wire if you've got like a little wire scrap to do this. I've got some toothpicks handy, so I'm just going to use one of them, and I'm going to use some glue on that knot. And I've really been enjoying using this E6000 Plus glue because it doesn't smell. It does not smell at all, and it works. It's a very effective glue. All right, it is kind of a chunky glue, so I'm just going to grab a glob and then find my knot and apply this glob right to it. Oop, where are you going, buddy? All right, let's pull that through. See, it does cover it. And now that that's finished, I'm going to go ahead and cut my elastic. And now that it's glued, I am going to let this rest for about 24 hours before I stretch it or try to put it on. But I'm very, very pleased with the way that this came together. This is a fantastic bead for doing a simple bracelet like this, and it is a very simple bracelet. And then we've got our little bail bead here with a dangle that I made with some of the other 2-hole beads and some seed beads. I love it. That is really great. And that was all made with things that came in the Adornable Elements seed beads of the month and 2-hole beads of the month with the add-on bag for the findings. I hope y'all enjoyed this unboxing and tutorial. Again, if you want to check out Adornable Elements, go ahead and check out the link. Use my coupon code if you want to get the same beads I'm getting. If you sign up for the seed beads, so you get the same ones that I get, or the same 2-hole beads that I get, or if you want the rotating beads of the month, you can be on the same rotation that I am if you use that coupon code. Also, if there are any beads here that you see that you wanted to get, you can email them and see if you can purchase them. You don't have to be a subscriber to do that. Just go ahead and say, hey, I saw this on Becky's channel, and I would love to have some of those beads, or if they have findings that are extras. Also, if you do subscribe to them, check your invoice, your packing slip, because at the bottom of that is going to be a URL. It's a Uniform Resource Locator. That's what you type into your browser in order to get to a web page. And that URL changes every month. And on that page will be some free patterns that you can use to make things with. It's just another benefit of being a subscriber that you can get with that, is the free patterns. Anyway, I hope you all are having a fantastic week, and I will talk with you later. Happy beading!